Good morning, students. This is JC Binoy, your SST teacher. Hope you are all having a nice day. It looks like finally the monsoon is here and we are going to have some relief and respite from the heat. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves. The onset of monsoon also means that there could be other diseases that could come up. So then you need to take care of yourselves. Do take care of your health and stay safe, stay home, keep socialization to a minimum. And I also hope that you're all are following all the videos that we are putting up for you all and taking your studies seriously. So be good and do good. That's what I'd like to say today. Now this is a continuation video of our chapter 8 desert climate for grade 5, which we had started in the previous video. And in that video we had learned that deserts are of two types, the hot and the cold deserts. The hot deserts are mostly near in the torrid zone. They are found mostly in the torrid zone. But we also have the cold deserts. When I say the deserts are mainly found in the torrid zone, it does not mean that you will find deserts only there. No, you will find them in all the other zones also, but mostly they are in between 20-degree north latitude and 30-degree north latitude, and 20-degree south latitude and 30-degree south latitude. These zones are also the areas, these deserts are also the areas which record the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature. That means the hottest temperature that was recorded was 57.8 degrees Celsius in Sahara Desert. Okay, so where is the highest temperature, hottest temperature recorded on Earth? In the Sahara Desert. And what is the temperature that I just said? 57.8 degrees Celsius. Okay, and the coldest, that is the minimum temperature recorded on Earth, is also in a desert, but in a cold desert, and that is the Antarctica. So the Antarctica is also known as the cold desert. So basically what does that mean? It means that cold deserts or hot deserts, they are all places where you do not find much vegetation. What does vegetation mean? Plant life and animal life. So you don't find plants there, you don't find many animals there, and it's difficult for humans also to survive. So the colder it is or the hotter it is, you will not find life surviving in those desert areas. Okay. Today in this video we are going to look at flora, fauna and the people who live in deserts. Alright. Now the flora is the picture that I have put up over there, and yes, there are a wide variety of flora and fauna found in the deserts. The picture of the flowers that are there on screen are actually found in the cold deserts. So when it is not snowed or frozen, then that is when you find the plant life coming up in these deserts, and they can they can have very beautiful colors and flowers in these deserts. So basically you find these floral plants in cold deserts. So you find, apart from this, you also find moss and lichen in the cold deserts. Okay. Now the cactus and the other image which is there on the bottom is that of a date palm. So you know we all love to eat dates. Do you know where they are grown? They are grown mainly in the deserts, and that tree which I have put up over there which has coconut like palms is actually not a coconut tree, it's a date palm tree, and that is the source which gives us those beautiful, yummy, delicious dates that we all enjoy having. Okay, so they are mainly grown in the deserts. So it's a characteristic of the flora of the deserts, of the desert. Okay, now what does flora mean? As I have told you all earlier, flora means the plant life that you find in any region. Okay, so let's look forward to the flora that is found in deserts. So what I've written out here is that there is scanty vegetation. So any picture that you see of a desert, you will not find it full of trees or full of plants. Why is that? That is because there are very less water resources, and so you need to have other kinds of sources. The plants have to adapt, they have to adjust to grow in the deserts. Okay, so that is why you find very scanty vegetation. What does that word scanty mean? Scanty means less. Okay, so you find very little plant life in deserts, and even if you find plants in deserts, they will be plants which have learned to grow in the deserts. So they are not like the normal plants that we find in our area. Like if you have a cactus at home, what will it be like the other plants that you have at home? No, just go ahead and observe at home. Okay, so what will it look like? The cactus usually has is usually thick, and you know that is the stem of the plant. Okay, normally when we draw a plant, we just draw a straight line and a few leaves and a few flowers on top, right? But when you draw a cactus, the cactus will be slightly thicker. So those are the stems of the cactus. And why is it thick? Because the cactus is storing the water that it has collected. Okay, and when you go to the desert, you will see that the plants have very deep roots. Okay, so the root, why do you think they have deep roots? Why do you think they have long roots which go deep into the soil? Think about it for a minute. And I forgot to tell you to keep a paper and pen handy, but have you kept it? I hope you have. If you have, just write down, why do you think a cactus or any plant in the desert would have long deep roots? Why do you think that happens? Have you thought about it? Write about it. Now see if it matches my idea. That is because these plants are surviving in the desert, and we know that deserts receive less than 25 centimeter of rainfall annually. So that means there will hardly be any water or enough water available in the desert. So if a plant wants to survive, it has to go looking for water deep down into the ground. And that is why usually plants in the deserts have long deep roots, because they go searching for water and they travel long distances. Okay, so that is why the plants in the deserts have long deep roots. Another characteristic of the cactus, even if you have a cactus at home, do check it out. Any cactus you can check, you will see that the surface of the leaf will be a little waxy. It will feel like there's a waxy coating on top of these leaves. That is again to prevent evaporation of water from the leaves. So even when the cactus is out in the sun, the wax coating on top of the leaves will prevent the sun from dehydrating the plant, from taking the water out of the plant. Yes, the sun's rays do that. Okay, so it can be prevented because of the wax coating that is found on top of the leaves of these desert plants. Okay, not only on cactus, but you will find this as a special characteristic of all kinds of flora in the desert. Okay, and another thing that you will find is they have thorny stems. That means that there are a lot of thorns on top of the plant. Correct? Any desert plant life will have thorns on them. Why do you think they have the thorns? Think about it. This is again connected to water and keeping the water to yourselves, retaining the water for survival. So this is a survival technique that the plants have adopted, the flora have adopted in the deserts. Okay, have you thought about why they could have thorny stems? Okay, that's because again the water is stored in the stems of the cactus or of the trees of the various flora in the desert. But to prevent that water from evaporating when the sun is shining so strongly and severely, the plant can lose all the water that it has stored. Okay, so to protect that evaporation from happening, these cactus plants have thorns on them. And if you observe, like if you have a rose plant at home or a cactus at home, go check it out. Are these thorns moist? Do you think they have water content in them? Go observe. Okay, you will observe that they are dry. Okay, they are more rough, they're more dry compared to the rest of the plant that is there. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that the thorns do not have that much water in them. So they are the points which are facing mostly towards the sun, and the sun is not able to take away the water from there. The water is stopped in the stem itself. Okay, it is contained within the stem and for the plant. Okay, so this is an adapting technique that the plants or the flora of deserts have developed amongst themselves. Isn't that so fascinating? Apart from this, you will see that their fruits are also dry. Okay, so you have the badam, that's the almonds. You also find dates. So all these are fruits which are covered by a protective shell outside. So they are again trying to retain or protect themselves. So these are different things related to the flora, and they have spines on them. Now spines again are lines on these fruit coverings or even on the stems. So these are all lines that are trying to protect the plant's water, to conserve the plant's water content within itself. So they are all means to prevent it from evaporation of water. Okay, so this is about the flora. So you need to remember the characteristics of the flora of the desert life. Okay, what are they? One is that the deserts have scanty vegetation. That means they have very little vegetation in the deserts, which is obvious. Okay, why is there scanty vegetation? If somebody asks you, what are you going to say? You're going to say that because there is less water available, plants are not able to survive, and that is why we will find very little vegetation in the desert region. Now what is particular about the desert plants is that they have long stem, deep roots. Okay, their roots go very deep into the soil in search of water. Apart from this, you also have the wax coating on top of the leaves of the plants. That is again to prevent evaporation. They have dry fruits and spines on their plants. So then all these are to protect the plants and to conserve the water content. Okay. Now moving on, this is an example of a tree, Joshua tree. Okay, the Joshua tree and other cactus, and there is also a plant called yucca. Okay, all these are found in the deserts of North America. Okay, so the Joshua tree, yucca, the sagarau, cactus, all these you will find in the deserts of North America. Okay, you need to remember the names. Please refer to your textbooks. You have those names in the textbook. Okay, apart from this, I have also put up, let's focus on the images of the cactus that are there. Okay, so you have different kinds of trees and plants that you find in the cactus that you find in the deserts. And if you also saw in the previous this thing near the cactus, where the cactus is, you will see that they are not full of plants that are there around. Okay, so this is a characteristic of the desert. It means that there is scanty vegetation, and if you observe the plants around the desert, you will see that they have again spines on them. Look at the long cactus that you can see over there. You will find that there are lines on them, correct? Even this leaf that is there in the foreground of the picture image, you will see that they have long thin leaves, blade like leaves, and they again you will find that they have spines and pokey little thorns on top of them. So these are all the adaptations that these plants have done to conserve water that they have stored. Okay, so how do plants survive in desert, or how does a cactus survive in desert? That's because they have large deep roots which go in hunt of water. Then you have the wax coating on the leaves which protect the leaves and conserve the water. They also have thorny stems, they have dry fruits and spines on them, which all help to conserve water. Okay. Another part of the flora that you need to remember is that date palms you will find mostly in the deserts of Sahara. You need to remember this. Okay, where will you find the date palms? In the Sahara. Apart from this, you will find the moss, heath, lichen and flowering plants which you will find in the cold deserts. Okay, and Joshua tree is found in the deserts of North America. So these are the things about the flora that you need to remember and learn. Okay, so we learned about the characteristics of the plants, how they survive, the different types of plants which are found across the different kinds of deserts in the world. Okay, and please remember that I shared a map in the beginning in the previous video, where I have shared a map where in which you can see all the deserts across the world. So different kinds of deserts in different parts of the world will have different kinds of vegetation. So that is again, flora will change according to the desert where it is, okay, the location of the desert. Now let's move on to fauna. Again, I have shared images of animals. So what does fauna mean? Fauna means animals found in the desert. So let's go from the top, okay. That's a snake, obviously. So you will find many snakes, very poisonous snakes in the deserts. You watch any National Geographic program or even any program on Discovery, you will see these you will find a lot of programs which are based on these animals. Then there's the hyena. That's a two-humped camel. Till now we have always learned about camels having one hump, but here I've put up a picture of a camel which has two humps. I'll come to that in a little bit. And you have the last image, which is the scorpion, okay. So these are some of the fauna that are found in the various deserts of the world, okay. And these are mostly found in the hot deserts, okay. Except the double humped camel, everything else, all the other animals are found in the hot deserts, okay. Now we have always learned that camels are called the ship of the desert. Now that's what we're going to look at. Why are camels called the ship of the desert, okay. The camel is called the ship of the desert because basically it is an animal which is very strong and it has learned to adapt to live in the deserts, okay. And their body is structured in such a way that they are able to protect themselves from the harsh environment. So in the deserts, one main important event that happens in the deserts are the sandstorms. Now what are these sandstorms? Sandstorms are where the wind blows all the sand from the land and it creates a huge storm. So everything gets covered in dust and it gets into every little opening that is there available, okay. So even as a human being, we have to cover up all our ears, eyes, nose and mouth, okay. So it's better to stay indoors when there's a sandstorm. Similarly, how do animals protect themselves then? So this image is of again a Bactrian camel. The previous image I had shown you all a camel with two humps. That camel is called as a Bactrian camel, which is mainly found in the Gobi Desert, okay. And if you remember from the previous video, Gobi Desert is in China, okay. So the Bactrian camels and the camels which you have, the single hump camels which you have in the rest of the hot deserts, they have one basic characteristic in common. They have hairy eyes, okay, and they have a lot of hair on their body, not so much hair, but they have more hair on their body which will protect them from the desert, from the sand of the desert. So in case of a desert storm also, nothing much will go into their eyes or their ears or their nose, because they have a lot of hair which protects their organs, okay. So that is why this is a special feature of the camels. So they are able to travel, they are strong because of the humps. They are also able to reserve the water, and they can survive on very little water for a long period of time. So till they reach another oasis, they can travel, which very few animals in desert can do actually. We all need water to survive, okay. We need food and water, but if we do not get water, we also get weak, okay. Dehydration can be a big problem, but the camels can still carry on because they can conserve water in their body and the humps help them to do that, okay. So the camels are the symbols of the desert because it's a major source of milk and meat and for transport. So they use this for everything, and that is why the camel is called as the ship of the desert, okay. You have to write this answer. Why is the camel called the ship of the desert? So based on the points that I have told you now, please write it on a paper, click a picture and share it with me on my mail, okay. Another characteristic of the camel is that they have padded feet. What does that mean? One is that their toes are separate, okay. It will be like this, okay. So that is a hoofed foot and it is padded. So that means there is a lot of padding which allows them to walk in the sand, okay, easily, comparatively easily. and so they can also run fast. Okay, so these padded foot, it protects them from heat, and it also helps them to run fast and travel long distances. And their hairy eyelashes and ears prevent sand from entering their ears and eyes. Okay, now the other kind of animals that you find in the cold deserts. Okay, so as you can see the penguin in Antarctica. Okay, so penguins are found in the cold deserts of Antarctica. I already told you that we have two kinds of deserts, hot and cold. And which kind of animals will you find in the Antarctica? The penguins, and other than that you will find the water animals, right? The amphibians. But so these are the fauna of the cold deserts. And I told you the Bactrian camels are the camels which have the two humps, which I have displayed on your screen. And they are camels with two humps, and they are found in the Gobi Desert. Okay, so these are the things which you need to remember about the fauna of the deserts. Now let's move on to the people who live in the deserts. Okay, who are these people who are ready to survive in the deserts? They are usually different tribes. And another interesting fact about the people of the deserts is that they are nomadic people usually. What does nomadic mean? It means that they are usually tribal people who move from one place to the other. So they use the resources of one particular land area, and when that is over, they move on to the next. So that they are called as nomadic people. People who move from one place to the other and settle there for some time, use the resources of that place, and then move on to the next. Okay, so such people are called as nomads. So you will find nomadic tribes in the deserts. And that is why you will also find that it's very difficult to live in the desert. So you won't find huge populations in the deserts. So they are sparsely populated. What does sparsely mean? Sparsely is again another word for little. Okay, so they are not very huge populations, and you will not find them all over the desert. You will find them only in certain areas. So they are sparsely populated, and they lead a very nomadic and pastoral life. So I have already told you what nomadic means. Pastoral is, again, they are surviving on the agriculture or the livestock that they have. So what is livestock? Livestock is any animal resources that they have. It could be camels, horses, sheep, goat. Okay, these are animals that they could be rearing, and they survive on these animals and the very little vegetation that is available. Why can't they have more of a vegetation available over there? That's because there are hardly any rains, so there will hardly be any farms. So it's very difficult to survive in the deserts, and that is why you will find that they are sparsely populated, and you will mostly find them in places where there is some sort of a water resource available. Okay, now they mainly settle down near oasis. I'll tell what that means. Okay, right now this is an image of the oil refineries that you find in the deserts. So deserts are a huge storehouse, or they are a huge source of oil and minerals. So you will find a lot of oil and mineral activity, mining activity taking place in the deserts. Secondly, you will find mostly people are staying near the oasis. Oases are isolated pools of water. So that is where you will find most of the population living. And how do they live? I have already told you that they survive on their livestock. So livestock are any animals that they could be rearing. Rearing means to take care. Okay, so they must be nurturing and taking care of these animals, and they must be using them for the meat, skin, or for the milk. So any of these resources. Apart from that, where there is water, you can have some farms. So they can be farming, and they can be trading. And what do they grow in their farms? They grow millets, barley, and dates. So these are the main sources of income and for survival for the people in the deserts. So what do they farm? They mainly farm dates, millets, and barley. And they also have huge sources of oil and mining happening. So that is why you will find most of the oil fields in Kuwait, Iran, Saudi Arabia. These are the countries basically who deal with oil mining. Okay, so a lot of petroleum products come from the deserts of our world. Okay, so this is about the people. Now let's have a look at the oasis. Now I'm again moving around in the screen, I'm sorry. So what is an oasis? Oasis, a single oasis will be spelled as O-A-S-I-S. That is what I have put up on this in the title. But plural of oasis is oases, and that is spelled as O-A-S-E-S. So that's the two difference between the two words. Okay. Now, as is obvious, oasis is a place where you have some source of water, and you will find, now where there's water there will be plant, and you will find animals as well as humans there. So these are the places in the desert. So wherever there will be an oasis, you will find a lot of plants growing there, and you will find a lot of human beings settling down there. So there are two images which I have shared on screen. One shows the oasis and the different kinds of plants that grow around it. Again, if you observe, you will see that the rest of the desert is sandy and nothing is growing in that. But as it comes closer to the water source, the plants start growing because they're getting water, and that soil becomes a little bit fertile. So they are able to grow. And then they have those specific features of the flora of the desert. They are thorny, their trunks are thicker, the trunks have spines and thorns in them. So that is the characteristic of the flora, and you will find this flora mostly near the oasis. And oases are pools of water which are not all together. You will find that in the desert they are distributed very far from each other. So they are isolated. Isolated means they are very far away from each other, not very close by. Alright. So oases are isolated pools of water and vegetation in the desert, and where there is water you will find human beings living there. Correct? So this is our lesson. We're going to stop here with the lesson. Before we go, I'm going to have a quick quiz that I want you to go through. So let me see if you have been, not let me see, but let your family see whether you've been paying attention to the video. So the first question that I put up is that dash are or blank are isolated pools of water and vegetation in a desert. Think about the answer. I've told you to keep a paper and pen handy, so please write the answer there. The next question is hot desert vegetation comprises of dash. Okay, what do they comprise? What are they made of? What does the word comprise mean? What are they made up of? Okay, or what do they have? Your options are thorny bushes or tall trees. Okay. The third one, the dash blank tribe live in the Sahara Desert. This I had mentioned in the video. Okay. The dash tribe live in the Sahara Desert. Your options are Bedouin and Banjara. Okay. Think about it. The fourth one, dash dunes are a common feature in desert landscape. Okay, dash dunes are a common feature in the desert landscape. In the deserts, what kind of dunes will you find? Okay, whether they are made up of stone or of sand. Think about it. Here are the solutions. So the first answer is oases are isolated pools of water and vegetation in a desert. Please note the spelling. Oasis is plural, so that is why it will be spelled as O-A-S-E-S. Okay. Hot desert, the second one. The answer to the second one is hot desert vegetation comprise thorny bushes. Okay. Their bushes, they're going to be thorny bushes. You're not going to find many tall trees there. Okay. And the third one, the dash tribe live in the Sahara Desert. The name of the tribe is Bedouin. Okay, what is it? Bedouin. Okay, so the Bedouin tribe live in Sahara Desert. And the fourth one is, the answer is sand dunes are a common feature in the desert landscape, because the small hill-like structures which you find in the desert are called as sand dunes. Okay, so please remember that. So sand dunes are a common feature in the desert landscape, in the deserts. So let's look at the solutions once again. Oases are isolated pools of water and vegetation in a desert. Okay, please remember the spelling. Hot desert vegetation comprised of thorny bushes. The third one, the Bedouin tribe live in the Sahara Desert. And fourth one, the sand dunes are a common feature in the desert landscape. We're going to stop here now. I'm going to be sharing a worksheet later on. Please go through the textbook and the 2 videos that I have shared. In case of any doubts, please send a mail to me. I will get back to you. Okay. Also make it a point to read your textbook so that you can have more information. You can use the information that is given in the textbook also, because there is a limitation to how much I can put up on the slides. Okay, so I want you to start reading your textbooks also. So based upon the textbook and the 2 videos that I have put up, I will be putting up sharing a worksheet which you will have to solve and send it to me by mail. Okay, you can click a pic and send it to me on my mail ID which I'll be sharing. As usual, last instruction that I have to leave you with is, please mark your attendance by leaving your name, your whole name, full name and your standard division in the comment box below this video. Alright, thank you, have a nice day.